nice to be back after a short break on the TesterSpeak series. And today I'll be speaking to someone who has been really inspirational to me and to the entire test chat community. I love this person's work for the level of detail he goes into with every piece that he writes or speaks about. I love this person for his passion for testing and the kind of engineering perspective that he brings in. Welcome everyone to another episode of TesterSpeak Season 2 with your host, Brijesh Day. And without any further delay, I would like to welcome my guest, Ravisuriya Eshwara. Welcome, Ravi.
Hi, Brijesh. Thank you for having me. Yeah. I'm happy.
Well, Ravi, the pleasure is entirely mine. It is an honor to have you on the show because, like I said, your work, your way of doing things has been inspirational. Okay. Not only me, but people from the test chat community have always looked forward to your responses. And, initially when you started responding in the group, we were quite used to long responses from a lot of people. But, everybody was stunned with the level of detail that you went into. Okay. I had seen long responses from a lot of people in the past. But you went into something else. You went very deep, very detailed. The answer was not only long, but it was explaining every minute bit. Okay, every small bit. And the classic example that I think of, and the one that has stuck me the most, is when we released our book 21 Days, 21 Tips last year, and we had put out a QR code, and some people said, oh, it's not working for them. And then you did an analysis and explained as to how a QR code works, how do we test it, and what could be the different possibilities, which prompted me to do some testing, to get to the depth, to think from your perspective, and then figure out that it is not just the code itself which may have issues. The code readers may also have an issue. And what I was able to figure out was that some people were not using an updated version of the QR code reader, and that's why it was failing for them. So quite an interesting thing. So thank you for helping me learn. It was incredible.
Yeah. Yes, I think Mahati. I think she was the one who posted that she's not able to scan that. That. So as soon as I saw that, okay, I thought, okay, what she's doing. So that was my thought. And then I went into okay mode. Okay, let me see. Then I started using. Then as soon as I saw that, okay, I came to know there's something here. Yeah, I started to debug and investigate, and then I tried to. Once I did that, I tried to isolate each problems. Like okay, like what is happening in this case. So I tried to isolate. So as I isolated, I figured out okay. As I said, most of the libraries used by the apps or on the websites were not the latest one, and pretty much the old one, and they had a reason for that as well to have that because the latest might not be supported on all the interfaces. Yeah, so they stuck to the old one, and that had the problems.
Yes, and we had got a little crazy with the new design because now we can tweak the design on the QR code. So we went a little experimental, added color and changed the color of the eye and all of that. Well, that said, Ravi, how did you get into testing?
Good. So in my I add an article to write means but okay, I'll put it here. During my engineering days, I think from fourth sem I started developing the interest in testing, like interesting like what we were doing. But then still, okay, the means the HOD of department said, okay, not means if you if your people happen to go for the coding side of job and don't go for testing, and it's not much beneficial. So this was a line which were being said to us in college days. Uh, but still, I picked up that interest. And if you ask why, I don't know. I still write the programs, and I should do the projects. But the best thing for me was like while I should test my own code, and while I should debug the code of my friends. Okay, that gave me means that sparked my interest. From there, I decided, okay, if I want to be in the job of testing. So right after engineering, I did not find a job because we did not have a campus in the college. So it was we were supposed to go and give the uh, resumes. So I had a booklet. I had a booklet in a bucket always. Where in those days we had the Times of India, and every Wednesday this to come Times Ascent. So I has to copy all the email IDs, and wherever I has to walk across the street of Bangalore asking a job, I has to make note of the email of the HR or means usually then they had no idea of the this one the talent acquisition or recruitment team. It was all HR which I saw. So as to get the ID and make a note of all them, and as to post an email. So this went on for a year. So as to attend and walk-in drives. Yeah, as to get rejected, like for multiple reasons. One was for my communication because I stammer. So those were it is. That's in the early 2000s. One day, I saw an interview coming. In a time percent from the data card India software private limited. They had given an ad for the in the newspaper for the Java leads and the DBA. But still, I wrote them because I the strength of me was the core Java. So I wrote them, okay, can you give me this position? I can do this. And it was HR at datacard@india.com. I mean starting .in somewhere. I just posted. So means as usual for me, I posted, and I did not expect a response, but I had my own way of means I'm going to say the strategy of writing an emails, okay, and putting it. After a month, I got a call from that company. Can you give an interview for the Java freshers? Yeah. So I went in for Java freshers, and it was the written test with like 6 sheets of white paper, and I had one like around 10 Java questions, means 10 Java programs to write. I did that. Means as soon as I saw the program, I was like very confident. I'll clear this first round. I wrote and I cleared a first round. So after like the 3 days, they gave me a call for the second round. In second round, I had a interview with 2 people. One was Srinivasan M. Rao, and another is Vasudevan. So Srinivasan was the MD of India for data card, and Vasu was the manager for one team. In that interview, I was asked about linked list and the double linked list. I could not answer, means I could not write my program very well for the double linked list. So I wrote, I did say what I said. Then they asked me, okay, to test means, then they asked to test my program. As I tested, okay, means as I went through my code, I figured out, okay, this is not a good program. I said them why this is not good, and I listed out the reasons why it's not. But they said they are looking for strong candidates with the data structures. So that did not go well for me because I myself said, okay, what's the problem with my code with the double linked list? They were like, they said they're happy with the way I debug, but not with means not with the way I designed that. Means I wrote. So as soon as they said, okay, I know, okay, I lost it. Okay, they said bye, and I said okay, bye. I came back and I accepted that I lost it. I started again searching for a job. After a month, I got a call from the HR. Her name is Radhika. So she was a head HR of India. She said, "Can you come and take a offer to tomorrow?" That was like, and she asked, "Did you join anywhere else first?" I said, "No." She was still looking for a job. Then she said, can you come and talk to Srini and take your offer tomorrow?" I said yes. So it was 3 p.m. Still I remember. I went in there, and she made me to sat in that one small meeting room, and Srini came, and he said, "Are you okay if I offer the job in testing?" I said, "I was looking for that, and you're giving me that." I said, without second, I said, "Yes, please give me." And he said, "Why I'm giving you okay this offer in testing is because the way you debug and the way you approach the testing was something interesting and which I've not seen in the hall. So I want you means if you're okay to pick up that, I'm okay to you." I said, "Okay, please give." And he said to and HR means Radhika and Srini asked, "Can I join by next week?" I said, "I'll join tomorrow." And they're like, "Okay." Yeah, I started my job testing job from there. On the first day, I went into the project. Then my manager was Kalyan Kumar Chembati. He gave me the book of William E. Perry in this one. The quality, so, some book from William Perry. I forgot the title. He marked me the chapters, what to read in testing, like, and he gave me the time of like 2 days. And I started, and as usual, I got the documents of test cases, requirement documents to go through from there. Yeah, but today I thank Data Card India and Radhika Muralidharan, because if she had ignored my email, then I think I wouldn't have got the dreams of what I was looking for. Probably, I think so. And Srinivasan for seeing something in me. Yeah, I thank them.
It is quite incredible that you landed in a dream job right up front. You started your career with kind of a dream job situation.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a way, people like say it happened. I cannot come means it's not my choice, because it is my choice, and in this way, I got something like what I wanted. I'm happy in that way. Very happy and very content.
That is nice. That is nice, because quite often we hear stories of people being accidental testers. They wanting to go into development and then landing up in testing. Okay, or doing something else before they come into testing. But you wanted to do testing and you got started with testing. Now that's an important and interesting thing.
Yes, here I want to separate two threads, like what I see, because when I ask myself, did you had passion for testing? Not sure, but I had very deep interest in testing, deep interest. As I started working, that developed the passion to me. Okay, well, so the passion happened. So the interest led me there, and as I started exploring the passion built in.
That is awesome that you had a little bit of fire in you already, and then you just got the tools to ignite the fire and make it a little more bigger, if I can put it that way. So the passion just grew.
Yes.
Now, when you started your journey back in the day, I think it was 15, 16 years ago.
Yes, it was 2006. Yeah. June 6, 2006.
June 6, 2006. Well, okay. June 6 is an important date for us as well at the test chat community. It's our anniversary date as well. So very easy to remember for us. Yeah. So from the time you started till today, have you seen testing evolve, or have you seen testers evolve, or have you seen both happening simultaneously?
Okay, first, I would say the thought of the industry on the testing has evolved very much, and it is evolving. The perspective what they had then on a few lines of testing has evolved very much, definitely. I'll come to that. And testing goes, and what I see is, rather saying testing has evolved, testing was not, it was not seen well enough then, because testing was seen, okay, as like some line of activities. But today, we have a better idea of, okay, what testing is actually, and how to carry out those testing means. And but earlier we don't have that, or we don't hear that from people who are practicing that. Then today we often hear that, and we have like a lot many platforms where one can come and share that. And testers, yes, when I see the testers and then and today, uh, we see a difference. We see a difference, and today testers uh, think, okay, much better than those days. But again, when we see our testers thinking much better than there, again we see the traps as well today. This, yeah. This three. I see that there are three segments. Industry has changed the way of seeing a testing, and testing. The clarity of testing is getting much better, and people are trying to go and try to understand. Okay, is this the testing? Okay, in this context. Again, I'm saying, is this the testing in this context? That has changed the dimensions of testing itself, and testers, they have changed perspectives, and also they are falling into the traps as well.
No, that's a very interesting thought. Now I want to extend it and take it a little more, talking about the changing trend in testing. Now, one of the things uh, that I have also observed is that testers, back in the day, used to be, you know, a part of independent teams. Now, testers are a part of the one team concept, as they think, as they want to call it. Okay, development, business, testing, everybody works together as one team with one goal, with a shared vision and stuff. So that has an impact on testing as well. The way the teams are structured, or the way people are, or testers get involved, that has an impact on testing as well. The way you look at testing. You spoke about the perspective on testing changing, right? So do you think the team dynamics has had a big impact, or do you think it is something else which is been pushing the cause of testing to be changing?
Please, can you help me to understand when you say team dynamics, so that I can.
So, like for example, like I said, that initially back in the day we had situations where, you know, I as a tester would be a part of an independent verification and validation team. That term was quite popular during the 2005, 2006, when Agile was still coming up.
Yes.
Okay, the early days of Agile Scrum and things like that, and people were trying to build their understanding. But once people said, "Oh, Agile is probably the way to go," then you saw less and less of IVNV models. So when having worked in service-based companies, I know that when the RFP responses were given, the format changed. Earlier, we used to pitch that, okay, there will be an independent team of X number of testers with a test lead and a test manager, and they will do it for you. And then suddenly things change. No, okay, so you are picking an entire team which comprises of a developer, a tester, a business analyst, a DBA, and an architect, all working together to give you the solution. So the team dynamics changed. Okay, the perspective on testing changed, because earlier people used to start thinking, this is my opinion, that people used to think, oh, testing, I have a big claim to make. I have a big say in the whole thing. The later testing was, oh, okay, it's just one part of the whole chain. So yeah, it's okay, kind of an approach. Okay, so I have seen that. Have you seen that?
Yes. I was part of a team which developed application in Java, and they had one team of the programmers and one team of testers. Yeah, but we still work on same team. But we still means the amount of interaction what we had with the programmers was not like what we have today. It was like very minimal and very minimal. And whatever, okay, the problem used to appear, we used to report about or go and talk to the test lead. Okay, this is a problem. But yeah, but today it's not a case. Okay, one can go and talk to the lead, I mean the test lead, or can go and talk to the even the programmer who is sitting next to her or him, or probably one desk away from her or him. Then it was like one floor away or like one building away. Yeah, then in those days. Yeah, before coming to this, we all remember that we used to hear, okay, in interview these questions, V model and the spiral model. Then in interview, but today, you see, okay, those questions are not seen in interview. I don't know if someone follows that, but could be. But we have moved from it, and we sit next to means I used to sit in a desk where I used to have one desk only for me, means a tester, and the programmers used to be somewhere elsewhere. But today, the culture is that the programmers, testers, everyone sits on the same floor, and we can see them, and we can just wave our hands and call them. Yeah, that's a culture. Yeah, and I think this is good. This is good, and this is good, and it will help me. It will help me to communicate and learn better.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Very good. And independent verification team, I see still this model exists in few places. Maybe, for example, between product or between services, it exists. Maybe that's for the context where it is there. And in recent times, wherever I have been working, I don't see that practice of independent test team or IVM model. So they include the test. Rather saying testing team, they have testers now. It's a one team, and that team comprises of, as you said, programmers, the product owner, and the testing team. Yeah, all out of place. There is a huge shift, and when we do this, okay, now the thought process of testing, okay, also has changed. Means the way the teams is now testing it has also changed.
Yeah.
So for me now, this is one of the important aspects, because then, okay, our test lead or test manager is to guide, okay, this and this to have some protocol and some thought process, this to tell this. But today, okay, today if we are doing let's say a test and we have some feedback, immediately the programmer will pitch in, and he or she will share some thought, means her thought of testing, is this, no, don't do this test, or okay, do something else, or can you give me, okay, can you try to see what happens in this case. But then, okay, we used to have that only from the leads or the senior testers where we interacted. But today, even the programmers, the product owner will pitch in, and also the more importantly the architects, I mean for the system, they'll come to the desk and see, okay, yes, this is something, yeah, and try to see what happens in this case as well. So these are the small things, but this makes a huge impact on the feedback what we share from testing.
Yeah, so that is something really nice. And now I want to bring in a slightly different perspective on things, and I want to talk a little bit about the engineering side of things. Now, we've spoken about the evolution of testing. Have you seen testers also shifting more and more towards the engineering discipline, or imbibing a lot of engineering values into the work that we are doing? Because earlier we had this idea of test teams. Then we started having QA teams, and now people have started talking about the quality engineering teams,
Yes.
right? And we've also seen specifically, if you look at some of the aspects, if you look at performance testing, okay, just as an example, I'm taking. Earlier, people used to say performance testing, but now they use the term performance engineering, right? So similarly, you see from testing, we've gone to a stage where we are talking about quality engineering.
Right.
So how do you see this, the engineering thing becoming a part of the entire life cycle of a tester or testing?
Before starting this, I'd like to give the credits to a few of my fellow testers with whom I interact today as well. To start with Pradeep Sundararajan, Ravisuriya.
Yeah.
So this were like two people with whom I interacted in initial days, bunch. And then to the circle, I got introduced with Ajay came in, Santosh came in, Parimada, like this YouTube coaches. And like if these are like one set of people, I also have other set of people, okay, who are contradicting with the thought process of these people. And once they're saying okay, contradicting, they have the different opinions as well. So I think that's a wrong term. It's a contradicting. They have the different set of opinions. Okay. So this okay, but standing out. Okay, yeah, they are my fellow testers with whom I interact. Rather, okay, being in a group. Okay, I mean, so I'm still in group, but I'm standing out, and I look at them. I see the two thoughts, and I see the like multiple people's multiple thoughts. That helped very much to me to understand. Okay, how people are thinking and the different thought process. And eventually, I ended up in saying, okay, to learn that okay, there's a schools, the different schools of testing in terms of the thought process itself. Yeah. So I should give the credits to them before I proceed now from now on. So I thank them all. I heard, I mean, Raghu Dharma, okay, when we discuss, okay, he used to say, it is to stress. It's not about performance testing, it's about performance engineering, right in 2008. And he had those ideas because he used to test for the performance then. And yeah, recently last week, I discussed with him, okay, on a few topics. Yeah, we had a call. We were talking on a few things of engineering. Yeah. So again, I thank all them, these people. Now coming to the engineering aspect. So when we say engineering, okay, what we all understand, okay, immediately is, and probably I think that is a first order thinking or the biasness. We think in terms of code because when we say engineering, we say it's code. I see the code is one of the byproducts of engineering. That's in the software engineering and development. The code is one of the byproduct of the engineering, but the way it is being communicated to us and the way it's being showcased, it says, okay, if you are writing the code or if you're better in code, you are into the engineering. In my opinion, that's not okay. That's not actually right. We have like multiple facets or multiple areas within engineering, and code is one segment, but still we can fit into the lot of the places of engineering. So this okay means this idea or this change in okay the way of seeing, I think we haven't got still in place. We should get this. Okay. So today as well, okay, if we talk about okay engineering, so most of us okay talk about the way we write code, means the test code, the way we think about the test code and the way we design the test code. That's very much important and that's very much needed. But that's not the only aspect of engineering. For example, I'll tell you. Okay, if I have to look at the test data and organize okay the test data. So that's one separate part of the test engineering itself. So usually we don't focus on test data. We do something else. Okay, we okay. I create this data and I use this and I use this. But we talk about reuse, and we talk about the model concepts, and we talk about SRP all in the okay in terms of programming. Can we apply the same thing for the test data? That's engineering, something for me. Which we are not yet seeing. So this, and that's one line. The second line what I want to share is, so when we say testing, okay, means testing is an activity. Yes, it's an activity, and it's a technical activity and it's a social activity. But when you bring in the perspective of engineering, the dimensions of testing will change very well. And that is where we see, okay, testing is, if we actually get into that, we'll not have the question, we'll not get into the question of does testing a future? No, we don't even come into that question at all, because testing will open up very beautifully when we bring in the engineering aspects. Yeah. And now my job is, okay, to practice very well into that each segments of engineering where I can apply testing and pick up the job and do it. Right. We are actually missing that engineering aspect and understanding of that engineering aspect and applying it, because we all still think about code as engineering. And also the people who have that authority in that project or in the team or in the hall, they do still think about engineering as code. Yeah, that's one change I wish to see, and engineering as much more the broader vision. Yeah.
Well, that is a very interesting take, and I agree with you completely on that, Ravi. When you talk about engineering, immediately code pops up in your head, right? And you start talking about automation. Okay, engineering is equal to automation is a perception that is kind of there, but it's much more than that. And you gave the example of test data, which is a great example where you could apply engineering. Because you engineer the test data, you don't just create the test data. The test data, if you were to just create test data, you could create any random test data. But when you're talking about, creating test data to fit in your context, to make it suitable for testing your particular application, to make sure that your customer's problem is getting solved, then you will have to think of that relevant test data that you need, which will have to be engineered, and it cannot be just created. And that's something that I also believe. So I completely agree with you on that. Another aspect which I always have believed, and which was also mentioned in one of the previous TesterSpeak episodes by my good friend Vikas Mittal, where he said that engineering is about adding efficiency in the work that you do. Okay, and he gave some beautiful examples where he said, see, I have a way of doing things. Okay, I have a way in which I can test. But when I bring in the element of engineering and focus on increasing the efficiency in various ways that I do, okay, that's when the engineering is also happening. And that's what engineers do, right? When they not only build things, but they build it efficiently. And so that aspect, that angle was also a beautiful thing. And I thought I should share this with you. And like you mentioned, of course, a huge shout out to the names that you mentioned, Pradeep Sundararajan, you mentioned Rahul Verma, excellent. I mean, amazing person. The kind of work that he's been doing is absolutely phenomenal. Then you mentioned, Ajay Balamurvidas, Santosh Tuppad, Parimala. Okay. Parimala, amazing tester, great perspective on usability and the kind of work that she's doing today with Google. I mean, that speaks volumes for the kind of things that she does. Okay, another person that I can remember in the same breath is Donna Shaker. Donna Shaker.
Yes.
Yeah, so another great guy, and I have had the fortune of interacting with most of them. Some a little more than others, but I completely agree that they have a special place, not only in your heart, but also in my heart. And so a big shout out to them, and really thankful to their contribution in the testing community, especially in India, because they have been instrumental in bringing the Indian testers to a sort of hall of fame, if I may call it, right? Worldwide there have been some very famous testers, but there was very little focus on the testers in India. But these guys have really brought the limelight on the Indian testing community, and today we have so many more who are rising and shining and doing such great work.
Yes, and I want to bring this point when you say, I think it was in 2008 or somewhere, is to meet on maybe on Friday night or during evenings of some weekdays, and just to discuss on testing. Okay, discuss on testing and some activities is to go on. I remember this gave the spark of the waking testing concept came in, and it took a very good start in India, and it also started multiple chapters in across the continent.
Yes.
That was like something very good, because then we used to pick some open source softwares and then test. But today, again, the dynamics of software are changing very, very completely. For example, the web, what we see, was not that today. Especially in 2008, we did not have the web like as we had today. Right. It was like very very minimal. Today it has changed, and we can go and we can go and start testing very immediately. For that case, Brijesh, even I still remember me testing the Firefox 3 and Firefox 3.x. Means so like the two different families. Yeah, I was testing for Firefox. Yeah, it is like evolved a long way, and we can see the engineering in all these things. And today, weekend testing can also pick up the programming as well today, along with that means to the lines of testing, and see how this both can be used to complement each other.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, talking about browsers, especially, I feel really old when I think of having used Netscape Navigator.
Yeah, Netscape Navigator.
as one of the browsers, and back in the day, it was one of the most reliable browsers. Yeah. And then coming and seeing the evolution of the Internet Explorer, then Firefox came into the scene.
Yeah. And this one, the modem what we had that day, like it was on the telephone phone line, that beep sounds. Yeah. And today we carry the GBs in our pockets, be it the space or be the data with that internet. We carry in our pockets today.
Yeah. I remember using the telephone line for internet. It used to make that fax noise, the fax machine noise while connecting, and it used to be so funny. And then you used to get speed like 1 kbps or something like that, and then you will be like, what is this? Not even 1 kbps, 10 bytes per second or something. That was quite funny. And now, yeah, you're absolutely right. We carry so many GBs in our pocket.
And also, if you see, from Windows 97, 98 to Windows 11, what we have today, means the way OS was then, today the OS is today, like what we see. It is like completely changed, be it in terms of looks or in terms of engineering. It has changed completely, and the same with Linux as well. Yeah.
Can I say Windows 95? Will I be too old? Windows 95.
Yeah. The floppy disk, for example.
Floppy disk, yes.
I had my projects in floppy disk, and then people who used to carry this one 256 MB of pen drive. Just to see him or us. He's a very rich guy.
Rich guy. Yeah.
So floppy was around like 9 rupees. The cheap one was 9 rupees, and the best one was around like 15 rupees. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. So we did a project on MATLAB during our engineering days. Okay, and so when we did the MATLAB project, now because we wanted to, of course, we could go to the company and do, but we wanted to do something outside as well. And I had a computer on rent during those days at home.
Oh yeah, that's all.
So I reached out to my cousin who was working in that company. I said, I need the MATLAB software. Can you get me? And he said, no, the original version will cost you a lot. I said, how much? And he said, okay. Then somehow, I know he paid from his pocket and got me a version. He said, sorry, I could not get you the CD. So the CD was an option. So he got me the software in 4 floppy disks. And he
Okay.
said, you have to protect these floppy disks because if one of them goes bad, then you lose the software.
It's all good.
So those were fun days when we had to protect the floppy disks.
Yes.
And people had this habit of doing, pulling that.
Yeah, the lid and play with that.
Yeah, that habit was there. Then I used to tell my project partners, do whatever, but don't do that. At least with these floppies, I need to protect them because I need the software. We installed it in the computer that I had at home, which I got on rent for the project purpose. And we did our project in the company where we used to go and work for the project as well as in my house. And, that project saved us in engineering final year because we got some really good marks for that.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, moving on. I know that you've been doing a lot of deep research and you maintain these two booklets, one on testing, one on engineering. Could you share some insights into the kind of research that you do? And how do you approach that research work?
Okay. Well, yeah, I said today testing is means in before it could as well. Yeah, testing is well aligned with the technology, the stack, whatever we have. And, so I cannot pull out the testing from the tech stack. If I do, probably I'm doing it wrong. So let's say when I get into that resource, what I do is I will look. Okay, I'll have a hint. Okay, what would be my next job, or where would be my next hands-on? I have that list, those lists, and I also have the current set of list where I'm working and where it all implies. And the other list is soon I will end up here. So this. So I have like n things in engineering, but I pick up that which I'll be solving, or I will get into a place where I will help them to solve via my test. So I pick up these things and I place on the list. On like comparative 1 to 3. Again, 1 to 3 have like 1A to 1N in each of these things. I try to understand that technology and how it works fundamentally. And when I do this, I try to identify the line of the testability. Because without identifying the line of testability and without understanding the line of testability, I will not be in a position where I can say very confidently, I tested this and this is what I see, and I see this because of this in given conditions. I cannot speak out that. To speak out that, I should understand testability. If I can understand testability to an extent, that means probably I have understood the system better in a way. This is where the modeling comes in, because I have modeled this product in this way in my thought process. And when I do this, I have modeled my testing mind and thinking in this way. And these are the attributes of testability which I have pulled out or identified in this model of testing and model of engineering for this context stack. So I try to draw this line. And like this, I have like multiple models for same. So the same thing, if I do in this model, this won't work. And this gives a different answer, and this gives a different answer, and both are valid and to the context. So which one I should be using now? Now I can extend this further. If I want to automate, means usually people come and okay, we end up there. How do you automate? Can you automate here? So I will derive what attribute of testability will also help the attribute of automatability. I draw that line. I see this, okay, if these two things, okay, exist, it will exist, but the easiness will vary based upon the context. So I try to figure out that. And I try to figure out in a way that when I go and try to explain to the fellow engineer on the floor, they should be able to grasp it quickly. So my first audience is my fellow test engineers. When I say, okay, when we do this, okay, we can look at this to understand, okay, what's happening. So I try to focus on that layer. So when I do that, I think of the meta layer. So this meta layer, okay, for this thing, okay, remains here. If I understand this meta layer better, I can understand and anything below it, okay, and I can apply my testing better. Yeah, this is one. This is a key area where I work in my research works in each tech stacks. Understand the tech stack, identify the models which I can think of in a context for my testing, derive the layer of testability, and think about how I can use my testability. When I think of testability, again, there comes the this will also it will help me to think about the environment, the platform where I test. Means it could be hardware, or today we have then we had VMs. Today we have the Dockers or the containers coming in. And how can I think of my test quickly without investing much? I mean, so all these things. Then also at another layer, okay, the automation.
Right.
How can I bring in layer of automation to the means? How can I bring in automation to this layer? Be it means usually when we say UI, we think of GUI, means the graphical interface. But UI is at a meta layer, and the GUI is one of the interface, and the CLI is one interface, and the hardware could be another interface, like multiple things. So we figure out, okay, where I can automate better at what scene. Means will I automate or not? That's a second question. But let me have things available and ready. Then learn something, okay, which learn that thing which I need to automate at that layer better. Yeah, these things. And these things, in some places, it happens very quickly, and in some places, it goes late. And the challenge here is when we try to do this in a way, we often hear, okay, testers, you don't need to do all these things. You just test. That's one advice we get from the programmers or the tech teams or the management at sometimes. Okay, testers, you as a tester, you don't want to do all these things. But for me, they're right from the context in which they are saying, yes. But from the context in which I see as the testing as engineering, and to scale my testing, yeah, I need these things. Will I apply that immediately? That depends on context. But I'll be aware of those things. So that awareness, that's a key thing. Awareness that exists, but will you use it and will you consume it to do better things? That I can depend on the context. But you be aware.
That is brilliant. I could just let you go on and on on that one.
Yes.
Two things that come to my mind. Okay, two things that come to my mind from that. Number one is you spoke about modeling. So when I say modeling, in a lot of discussions, people's mind immediately wanders towards tool that can help them model. And I think the context in which you spoke about was to do a mental model, right? So when you say modeling, how will you actually fit modeling in the context of testing? How can you develop these models? And how can you make your tests better?
Okay. To say, how do I think about models and how do I start? I start always wrong. Means when I start, it will be always wrong. Means it won't match. And models will never match. Means and model in other way to put, models will always be wrong. But some models will work better to a context. That's all. So when I start, I have a model which is of initial draft of version. Okay, that tech model say. I'll apply. I might not get what I wanted. I may get, but not to the extent what I want. So, but still this works. This gives this information. Now I'll refine the model. But the same model cannot be applied elsewhere, saying this can be applied everywhere, because that model has got a context within it, and it works well there. But it helps to derive an idea, but it will not be sufficient elsewhere as well. So model is always model always has got a limitation, constraint, and it can be always wrong, but it works very well to the context. Then this one, how do we think of models? So we have including I have this challenge: where to start, how to start, where to start, and how to start. And besides this, when I happen to hear the communications that are going in a tech stack, it can also bring in the line of the scaredness in it. First thing is face it, means accept it, face it, and then your hands, start doing it. Means now there's the fear, start it. Now where to start and how to start, this is a question comes in, because the language we test engineers use is something very much different, and the language what the programmers use are very much different. So this gap, right, means this gap has to be bridged. How do I bridge that gap? So that's a start for me. Means how do I understand that, and how can I relate so that to my testing mindset and thought. I draw that line. Now, once I draw this line, now I have built the same concepts. What's in programming languages, means what's in the programming words, means the language of the programmers. I use means I try to build that same or with much easiness, which I can use with my fellow testers. Yeah, this is a start. Build them. And then now I have one one idea how to test an application built out of this tech stack for this. That's one notion of model to me. I use that. I see. Now, as I see that, now I approach my my fellow programmers or the architect, saying, is this what you're saying? Sometimes even they are surprised, because even they'll not be aware. We can derive this, and we can think about system in this way to test. Yeah. So this is a start. And sometimes when you take this, they'll say, yes, this is good, but we are missing something here as well, which we are making use of in this tech stack. So I will add that. Yeah. So model and modeling, it's a process which will evolve as we test, like the test strategy. It keeps evolving. So a test strategy will not be universal to hold means the testing at any time. So if taken in that way, maybe we are wrong. Means I am wrong. It evolves. Same with model and modeling as well. So modeling, in a way, it will influence the test strategy. If I say test strategy is a set of ideas which drives my test design and execution, model will help me to think about how to design my test as well. So it's all interconnected.
So that's quite interesting. Now, one of the things that I was also talking about, the other thing that I was talking about from your previous answer. Now, you went and touched upon certain aspects of research of applying engineering.
Of which? Sorry, I missed it. Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Do you still hear me? Did you?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah, audible now.
Okay. Did you lose me for a moment or something?
Yes, I lost you.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was saying is, from the previous answer that you gave, not this one, I was also keen to understand that when you go ahead and do that research and apply all those techniques, now there are certain elements where your research may not fall in line with the kind of perspective that others have. Okay, especially sometimes some stakeholders who might have a totally different perspective. So as a tester, how do you sort of convince them or take everybody on board with you? Because quite often I see testers struggling with this challenge. And okay, if they have a thought process, how do they take everybody along with that thought process? Okay, I've often seen some testers not speak out at all.
Yes.
Right. So from your perspective, how do you do that? How do you get everybody?
Okay, I will share a story for this and give example and see this answer. One of the research books I picked up is with the performance of the Android apps.
Mm-hmm.
It was in 2014 or 13. I picked up this, and I started understanding the internals of Android OS and the different layers of the hardware and the systems, how it connects. And then from there, from the OS, I came to the different the processors which runs on the Android and how it works and how this all relates to the performance. So when you say performance here, let's say in case of Android OS, it has got again multiple facets. It could be with the memory, or it could be the display, or it could be the network, battery, or it could be even the size of what we have on our device. And to add all upon this, we have the fragmentation of the devices itself and OS.
Okay.
So I came up with an understanding and approach from my research work. I can go ahead and do the analysis of all these things. Beat and Dalvik means like before Dalvik, I think it was Android 6 was last with Dalvik, and Dalvik, and after it came under runtime ART. And so I can go and do my analysis on be it on Dalvik or ART. And when I do this, I am very confident because when I say I'm very confident, it's not that I won't go wrong. I will go wrong, but given the context, given this, when I pick up my work and do my analysis, I'm confident. Okay, this data relates to this, and I can show that with examples. Okay, with HAP and the numbers, whatever I have data. When I do this, yeah, I'll have questions from the programmers and architects saying, no, this, no, this won't make sense. Not this. Yeah, even I have had those feedbacks as well. First thing is, okay, not to be too much attached and say myself. I said this to myself: don't be too much attached and say, yes, you're right. Always listen to them, because they also work day in and out as I work with all the systems. So try to understand, and communicate and know what they have. Sometimes people might ignore, okay, for sake of saying, okay, wrong, okay, wrong, this, okay, we don't want this. Even to come to a place where I understand, okay, they might be saying for this, okay, but to come to that state, I'll have to work a lot on understanding what they're trying to say at first. So I will try to put myself into their perspective and see the work from their perspective. I try to relate. If I see there is a match, I will say them, it's a match, and here's an example. If that isn't there, I'll try to build that. So that's there, and the testing team is always at the receiving end. That's there, but how to build that rapport, that node of identity with them. Yeah, even my work will have some voice when I share. So that's what I think at first. And second is there is always a scope for betterment and improvement and corrections in my work. That I should accept it first. Okay. So with this, when I present, okay, any feedback to them from testing, there will be a data which is very rational. So means I would have picked everything from the system. Means I may be wrong, but this data from system can also be wrong. But this data is not from me, but this data is from system. I have just picked them, and I have made some format to present you so that you can understand this and make a decision. Mm-hmm. So this is just like behind all this is my work of research. Yeah. Did I answer, Rajesh?
Oh yes, of course you did. Of course you did. We can go on talking about testing and deep research. Yes, I find these conversations very interesting. However, I want to take you to a totally different segment of the interview, which is, not much to do with testing, but a little fun segment called Rapid Fire. So the way it works is, you don't have much time to think. Okay. You have to think about and talk about the first thing that comes to your mind. And if there is a multiple choice question, then you will have to explain why you have picked up that choice.
Okay.
So, first question. What does Ravi like to eat the most?
What does Ravi
like to eat the most? What's your favorite food?
Coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah, I love coffee very much.
How many cups of coffee do you drink?
I used to have 4 cups, means 4 glasses of coffee. Today, my family, means my parents and my wife, they have reduced to 2 cups.
No further questions on that one. If it has come from the wife, then no questions on that one. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And what's his favorite sport?
Running. I run. So running is nice. Yeah, I run for I run 10 kilometers a day.
10 kilometers a day.
Yeah. If I don't run, I'll walk 10 kilometers a day in the morning.
Absolutely fantastic. That's really nice. Yeah, that's a good way of staying fit, staying healthy, and also being one with nature.
Yes, and especially around Eshwara, we have greens and the pressure in water. Yeah. I can feel the pressure in my lungs.
Yes. Eshwara is one beautiful area. Yes. North Bangalore, north side of Bangalore.
Yes, it's north of Bangalore.
Yeah, it's almost north, a little towards northeast, northwest. I don't know. I'm getting a little mixed up on the geography, but yeah, north. Somewhere
towards northwest of Bangalore.
Northwest of Bangalore, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I kind of have Bangalore's map in my head. Yeah. So I don't know if we have discussed, but I have spent a lot of time in Bangalore. So my father was with the Indian Air Force, and so he had a transferable job. So we kept changing places. But
okay. So you were in Jalali. Okay, because we have info in Jalali.
Yes, absolutely. That's how Jalali. Yes. So my father was posted to Jalali in 1987. That's when I was in 6th standard. That's when we moved to Bangalore for the first time. And then after that, my father was posted out. I think his next posting was to Agra, but he said, no, you guys stay here. So my brother, and we stayed with our mom in Bangalore, and we sort of stayed there permanently. Now I've got a home, where my dad stays with my brother, and so that's also in Jalahalli.
Okay, nice. So I go to info sessions with my father because he was in army, my father, and a leader. So he can go to the stations. So whenever he goes to the stations to meet someone, I'll go along with him. Yeah, it's a very good place. Means to be there. So,
The feeling staying inside these defense camps is phenomenal. You have people from all communities.
Yes.
You have all kinds of celebrations. Everybody celebrating each other's festivals and lots of food to try from. Okay, and different people, different culture, different food. So that keeps us going. Well, okay, yes. And so my last question of rapid fire. So you spend a lot of time playing with your daughter. So what's the favorite game that you play, that you both play? I'm curious.
Yeah. She also loves running.
And, she does? Nice.
Yeah, she also loves running. So we both run together. Yeah. Today morning, I brought her back within like 30 minutes, and she was not okay with it. She wanted to run much more. Yeah.
Good. That's awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome. So you are passing on the strength to the next generation, if I may put it that way. That's really nice. Okay. So now coming back to some more serious testing discussion. Not exactly testing, but I wanted to ask you something a little more personal. And yes. I see that as one of your big qualities, and I would want other people, not just testers, but everybody else to hear your thoughts and understand. Now, at the start of the interview, you did mention, and you've said it in the past, in one of the TTC meetups as well, that you have a challenge with your speech.
Yes.
Yeah. But what we have seen, that you speak your mind, you love to speak out completely, and you've never let that challenge with your speech come in your way. So what steps have you taken? Because the other example that I can take of somebody having a challenge with speech and yet overcoming that and doing so well is Pradeep Saundararajan. He does it so amazingly well. Okay, he's unbelievable. And I've seen you as well do it beautiful. Okay, so what is your advice to people who have similar challenges, and how can they get better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of means, to be honest, maybe my family did not talk about stammering with me, though I had stammering. Not sure why, but Pradeep means I am Pradeep means yes, Pradeep Saundararajan used to talk on this. He used to share what he used to do, okay, how we used to apply, but the same would not work for me, but it is to work for him. Okay. Yeah, I had this challenge with me right from my childhood. Means I want to talk, but when I stammer, people might lose that attention and they might not listen. And it happens to this day as well with my friends when I do that. But today I am much better. I have got a control over it. I am much relaxed today. So one night, right? Pradeep, okay, I think it was in 2008 again. Pradeep called me one evening and said, "Hey Ravi, you should watch this film." It was The King's Speech. Okay, it's a English movie, and it was released at that time. And he said to watch this, and I said, "What?" He said, "Okay, just go and watch The King." And the king, okay, who has to address the nation, okay, he will stammer. Okay, means he means he cannot even speak a word because he has got stammering to that level. But a day comes where he has to address the nation in the tough times, and the nation has to respond. And as he speaks, the whole nation will look at him and it will just listen quietly, and they'll go with him. That okay, like this, I can share like multiple stories with me and Pradeep, like how we discussed stammering. Yeah. So I'll thank Pradeep because he opened up with me on these subjects as well. Okay. To had that one round, okay. Then in India, okay, in the early 2000s, it was all about the walk-in drives. You'll know, and for a walk-in drive, it will be around like 10,000, 20,000 people coming in. In one such interview, I think it was in Whitefield then in 2005, 6, 5. I was asked a question about, okay, what is the difference between the priority and severity in the interview? Before I could start answering, okay, I stammered and I was rejected right away. No, you can just leave. That's just very bad. Means I know I had a lot of challenges and not favoring moments because stammering bad. This one hit me very badly because of stammering. I was said to leave interview, and I said, okay, please wait, listen to me. I just pleaded because I wanted a job, and I had cleared out 2 rounds already, and I was in 3rd round, and I said, just leave it. That was a bad impact on me. But I came back still. Okay, I continued to work on it. And in fact, I decided to be a lecturer so that I'll keep on talking. I'll keep on talking. Yeah, but so between that, okay, I wanted to be a lecturer like for a few months because I keep talking. So that will improve my voice. But don't go there. I landed up in a job, in testing job. From there again, I started speaking very much. And initially, I had a close circle where I should talk because these are the people, okay, who knows I'm stammering and they accept me and they listen to me. But not always to do this. But now I've opened up to the bigger circle, means to any circle, I talk. I notice, okay, but okay, that's fine. That's how we humans are. There's nothing wrong with them as well. And there's nothing wrong with me as well. Just move on. And I've got better. One instance, Rajesh, one of my friends said, okay, to go and consult the psychologist for this stammering. Okay. Before seeing it's a very good hospital in Bangalore. It's for the psychologist and nervous system. Because they saw, okay, the problem with my speech system, they said, okay, to go and consult with one of a friend. I don't know if you can. Okay. I said, okay, to go and see the psychologist and consult. Before I went to the hospital, I registered and I was waiting for my turn. Before seeing the actual doctor, there are the juniors, the practitioners. They will ask the questions, they will make a form, they'll fill. When I started stammering, they started laughing within that consulting room. It was like 3 ladies, means girls who were into the practitioners. I started laughing, but I said myself, okay, face them. Okay, it was very hard for me, okay, to be made fun and people laughing at me. But I said, okay, face it. And they made the notes they gave me, and I was waiting to meet a doctor. Maybe they did not see me, okay, waiting in the queue, but they came out and they called out, means they were calling out my name and they were laughing. They were talking. I could see them, and I was just watching them. And all of a sudden, even they watched me, that I'm seeing them. They became quiet and they went away. But I said them, okay, don't go away. It can continue to laugh. There is nothing wrong with it. Because if it's something making you happy, okay, please do it. And then I went to the doctor and saw, okay, he said, means he gave you medicines, but that did not work for me. What worked for me was to continue talking. I'm kind of talking.
That is, inspiring in a lot of ways. I mean, first of all, to accept and acknowledge that there is a challenge that is there, then to open up to somebody, in this case, in your case, Pradeep,
Yeah.
Pradeep also talks about it openly now.
Yes.
And he talks about it. He shares his journey also, just like you did. And thirdly, most important thing is to face it.
Yes, it is.
To face that challenge and say, okay, you know what? If there is a problem in me talking, then I will talk and talk. Okay, and that's how I can get rid of it, and that's a great attitude to have. Thank you, Ravi, for this one. This is a big one, and I'm sure that the testers who are watching this interview will understand the value of first of all discovering a challenge that you face and then facing it up. Secondly, if you are a tester, then you will also realize the potential that you can reach when you actually come out and speak. Okay, speaking out is in my opinion one of the big qualities that a tester needs to have. We speak so much about automation skills and this skill and that skill, paying very little importance to the things in which we express ourselves as testers. Okay, and one good thing that I can think of is one good way I can think of is by talking, just like you mentioned, you know, and the other good way is writing, in which also you have this blog site called Testing Garage. Now, for the audience, why Testing Garage? Why not something else?
Okay, Testing Garage. When I started, it was in 2006, 7. Here, I take you the credit to one of my friend by name Kantaracha MP. He was a senior tester to me in the senior tester. And I did not know the idea of blogs or anything. Okay. It was one evening, I went to his cabin and he was reading a blog. I do not know what is a blog, but he was reading, okay, a content. And it was some Srini Kulkarni, Srinivas Kulkarni. Okay, the thinking tester blog.
Yeah. He's another. He's another great guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I asked him, what is this? He said, this is a blog. You don't know? No, I said, I don't know. He said, oh, that was the first time I heard the word blog. I asked, what is blog? He said, okay, this is where people write, okay, their thoughts. Then I asked him to, I took my book, I wanted that URL. I came to my cabin, I started reading. From Srini's blog, that's where I came to know, okay, Pradeep, means he had, okay, those mentions, okay, Pradeep, then James Beck, Michael Bolton, all those. Okay, the next day I wrote a mail to Pradeep. Hey, can we meet? Yeah, it happened. We met. Again, from there, it connected to Rahul, me Rahul, and after that I met Ajay. Ajay came in. I met Ajay. Again, that's a journey. But Testing Garage. When I was thinking, okay, now what to keep? Okay, the name for my blog. As this action, I was thinking, and I had like multiple names. Okay, what to pick. But this one, okay, I got something in my Testing Garage, because I grew up, okay, working in a garage. Means for like 3 months I worked in a garage, helping the mechanic to repair the bikes. So I could relate testing very easily to the garage where I had Testing Garage. Kevin.
Brilliant. I like that. I like that analogy and that thought process. Okay. Testers, again, if you are looking to excel in whatever you do, apart from learning testing as a craft, apart from learning automation, try to learn to speak more, be a little more vocal, speak up, speak out, join the test chat community, because it is all about speaking up, speaking out. A little bit of promotion for me as well, Ravi. and most importantly, start writing, start expressing your thoughts. Okay. Quite often we get caught in this dilemma of oh, this is right, this is wrong. What will happen if I say this? Will it be right? Will it be wrong? What will somebody comment? And it's okay.
Yes.
It's an opinion that you have.
Yeah.
Perhaps you get it wrong sometimes.
Yes.
Okay, that's okay, because then somebody will come and help you to learn better, learn otherwise, and then you can correct yourself. It's as simple as that, right? As
Yes.
humans, we want to be correct all the time, but it's not possible to be correct all the time. There are times when we are wrong, which is okay. That's how we are humans, right? Otherwise, we would simply be God. Now, if I take your last name or my last name, it translates into God. But just because our last names are God, it right? So it's quite interesting. But then, for testers, please try and express yourself. It is a good quality to have as a tester. Come out, speak out, talk about it. It's okay, right? What do you have to say, Ravi?
Yes. Talk means first do what you love to do.
Yes.
Yeah, do that. For that, okay, means to refine one's own thought process and what to say. So talk out and then write, right? Because writing helps to think much more again. Then since you think much more again, it will reflect what I'm when I write. So that will help me to see who was I and who I am now. That's a very much important thing for me. Okay, it means where I keep reflecting myself to see, okay, where I am now. To that, okay, that I am in this chat community brought in 21 days, 21 tips initiative. So I thought, okay, to make 3 or 4 blog posts. And I wrote one blog post. I'm about to write 2 more blog posts. So my sharing of tips has stopped, means has been passed further because I could not write for last 1 week because I was engaged in something else completely. Yeah, I will resume that position. Right. Okay. Talk means first talk. Okay. And if you also have interest, okay, and develop interest to write as well. Like you write for testers, like you write bug reports and test cases. Write something else as well about your work or about yourself. That will help very much.
Absolutely. And glad that you brought up 21 days, 21 tips. Now, a bit of background into 21 days, 21 tips. It was something that occurred to me last year. Okay. And the date is, although it's not a significant date, it's not my birthday or any day. I was going to work and I was going through a lot of mental, dilemma and stuff. And I wanted to distract myself of that. And I wanted to go to work with a good, fresh mind. So my train ride was almost about an hour. So sitting in the train, nice Wi-Fi available in the train. What do? I went on LinkedIn and I said, okay, why not try to write a post every day for the next 21 days? So people said, why 21 days? In fact, this question came to me from the folks at Mulya when I said 21 days, 21 tips. Mulya folks were the first ones to write to me and ask me, Brijesh, why 21 days? Why not more? Why not less?
Okay.
And the reason for that is, I've heard people saying, if you do something continuously for 21 days, it becomes a habit. Now, I personally know that it is a myth. Okay. And I went and read about it and I realized that, research has been done and it has been established that it takes much more than 21 days to actually form a habit. But it was a good experiment for me to try and see what happens as a result of it. And I started doing it. And looking at me, there were other folks in the community who picked it up. And before I knew it, there were more than 100 people who had post tips during that time frame. And we got a nice collection of 500 plus tips. So we said, okay, this is good. So we went ahead and converted that into an ebook, because of which you did the QR code research. so, so all of that falls into that chain. Okay, so it turned into an ebook, and probably it is, I can probably claim it this way, that that is the book with most number of authors in it, because there are so many people who contributed to that book, 132 people to be very precise. And it was beautiful to see people come out and at least share. So this year, again on the 17th of March, I said, why not? Once again. Okay, and we started another 21 days, 21 tips. And this year, we again saw a lot of people joining in, such including you. Okay, it doesn't matter as long as you are coming out and writing. It doesn't matter if you are not able to do it, for 1 day, 2 days, fine. Okay, our goal was to share the thoughts. Our goal was to have, some sort of a consistency. It need not be every day. We understand that there are project pressures, there are things at family, there are people have their own priorities. So every day might not be a possibility. But if there is, as long as there is a consistency, as long as you have the intent of sharing, as long as you have the intent of learning, because a lot of times what happens is when you post a tip, okay, and people will come back and ask questions or challenge it or put across their thoughts on it, or you have discussions, debates, okay, and that's the way you also learn, right? That okay, this is my perspective, I put it out, but there is, there's these other perspectives as well. And some people have done this so beautifully this year as well, like last year. Okay, a lot of people have joined in. I was thinking of noting down all the names, and as I dig more, I'm finding more and more names. So I've still not finalized my list, because I was thinking of writing a post, thanking each and every participant for doing that. And some people like you are still doing it, which is quite appreciable, because people want to do it, they are enjoying it. It's the most interesting thing to learn.
In a way, it is helping. It is helping me to unlearn and learn the things.
Correct. And even though it doesn't form a habit, but it has got people into this nice habit of thinking, right, of saying, yeah, you know what? Oh, this is like this. I can. Okay. And if somebody's posting a tip and they, oh, yeah, this is nice to learn. I've even seen, some people go deep into technology and explain concepts so beautifully. Some people have gone ahead and explained stories. Okay, some people have put out quotes and have related that to testing or to some way of learning. Yes. Okay, so multiple ideas, multiple thoughts. It's not just to do with testing, but overall, which will help us become better people. So so I'm happy that something that I thought of has brought so much change, and I'm happy that people have enjoyed. I'm learning. I've been reading each and every tip. Okay, and as we collate it, and we will try to put it in the form of an ebook this year as well. So we will have a lot of ideas. Everybody will have those common thoughts. In fact, last year, what also happened, and I need to mention this. This needs to get a special mention. So Gaurav Khurana, our good friend from Microsoft, what he did was he went ahead, he looked at the book, and he said, I will review. So he started reviewing the book. And based on what he saw as a part of his review, he categorized the tips into multiple groups. Yes. He started making videos to share those tips again to a larger audience. Okay, that I thought was taking things to the next level, and that's how you grow in the community. Right. So yeah, Gaurav, if you are listening to this interview, hats off to you for that brilliant idea, for the great work that you've been doing. I mean, yes, Gaurav. He always comes up with these cool little ideas and makes these wonderful videos. His YouTube channel is also very nice, doing some great work. What's it? It's
what is it? I don't know that Hindi word. It's something with that. What is it?
Uzdial or something. I don't. Yeah, which means sharing, I think.
Sharing.
Yeah, and so I don't know what language it is. It's not Hindi, but it's
Hindi. Okay.
It's not Hindi, but yeah, Gaurav can explain it more.
Okay.
So Gaurav, if you're listening, well, love you for the work that you've been doing. Great, thank you so much. And Ravi, I would like to thank you for doing this interview with me today.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity and time.
Giving me this time, giving us the opportunity to learn from you. You have been doing some incredible work, okay, helping the community through your blogs, through the meetup discussions, the kind of research work that you've been doing and you've been sharing, that has been quite helpful. And overall, people who know you will also vouch for it, that your journey itself has been quite inspirational. And I'm sure a lot of people who watch this interview will find a lot of inspiration.
Rajesh, can I take an opportunity to thank you people in this interview?
Please go ahead.
Where I want to express my gratitude for them, because this will be on the record for them at any time.
Please
watch, because I want to express this gratitude so that they can watch it at some point of day when they watch it, this video.
Please.
My parents, first my father and mother, I thank them. Then after that, coming into my career work. So here I thank again Radhika Muralidharan, the HR of Data Card India then. Today she's in Sandbank. And Srinivasan Emro, okay, who saw something very interesting, okay, which he did not see on the floor in his hall. Yeah, I thank this too, because they gave me the opportunity to do something what I wanted to do at first. Yeah, this too. From there again, I come to Kantaraja MP and Shanti, my colleagues, because of Kantaraja, I came to know about that blog. Srinivasan means the blog of Srini. From there, I happened to know Pradeep, Rahul. From after that, into the circle, Ajay, Santosh, Parimala, then a few more people from there, Vipul, and another people who I want to remember is Sunil again of Mulya, okay, who helped me a lot, okay, and even we talked today, okay, on some lines, okay, and Sunil, then yeah. I mean, this one, Swaminathan. He was a VP of Flipkart and Ola. I've seen correct. Yeah, because Swaminathan, he saw something. Means he believed in me. He believes in me. Yeah, for Swaminathan that. And Abhilash Ramakrishna, who was my teammate in Ola, and today is the CTO of Valodoc. Yeah, he means some people who help me to grow strongly in tech as well. Means while I have my efforts, they believed in me. Means they trust in me, and they gave means they talk to me, and they open up multiple aspects. Yeah, I thank them as well. And Ramit, okay, Ramit means there is no learning, okay, face-to-face learning, but watching Ramit and the events that has happened between me and Ramit, I learned something about business very much from Ramit. And Ramit, he also means his focus on testing on the fundamentals is very strong.
Yes.
So I thank Ramit as well for that. The thought process of business coming in and the thought process of life coming in with to the testing and its business. Yeah, thank you, Ramit, for that. Yeah. And yeah, my wife who will wait patiently while I'm not around, because I'll be around. Once I start my work, okay, in morning, I'll be late, very late, maybe around 2 in night. So she takes care of the things what I should be doing sometimes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and thanks, Rajesh, for giving me this opportunity. So this is the first interview in the platform, and this is really very special for me. Thank you.
I love the humility, Ravi. Absolutely. I mean, like I said, your journey has been inspirational. I have been inspired. I'm sure a lot of other people will agree with me in the community who have been interacting with you, who have been learning from you through those meetups, through your blog. Testing Garage is huge for us. It's a great source of learning. You keep doing your research and sharing those valuable things for us. It is really incredible. I want to really thank you for giving me your time for doing this interview. I know that this should have happened a long time ago, but finally I was able to get this with you. So I feel very happy today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and folks, I mean, this is kind of a wrap on this particular episode, but I will see you around.
That's one small thing to add for the testers. Don't be scared of anything. Face the fear, be it code or something else. Okay, face the fear. We cannot move away from coding. Maybe in coming days. Okay, to test. But the amount of the code what we write, that's what matters. But don't go away from coding or develop. Okay, that anti thought about coding. It means write what is the programming, not coding. Don't develop the anti thought about programming. Okay, try your best and try to fetch the benefits out of to your testing. Face fears, beat anywhere. Okay, that will help you to grow. Face it.
I absolutely agree with that. I mean, face your fear. I mean, a lot of people, Ravi, and I will be very honest with you, and some people may even raise their eyebrows at this comment. When they say that they don't like coding, I feel that somewhere deep, there is this fear of coding. Okay, yes. What if I get it wrong?
Right, yes.
Right, and a lot of times, some people who have owned up to it have told me that what bothers them is to see all reds on their screen, those error messages in red. So that red is a thing which is telling you to stop, reflect, learn, and then progress, then turn it into green. The red is not a sign telling you that you can't do it anymore. When you are traveling, the red doesn't stop you completely. It turns green as well sometimes. In a few seconds, it turns green and then you're able to proceed ahead. Because if you have a dead end somewhere, you will not see a red signal, right? There will be no red signal telling you this is a dead end. Okay, so red is...
Sorry, go ahead on that.
Go ahead.
This last week, completely for last 10 days, I was completely into one task of automation. Where the same thing. Okay, I had done a test, but since now the environment has changed and moved into the different testers of the containers and the orchestration, it's failing. And so the question of what I got was why they're failing? Why they're failing? Because as a test, it shouldn't fail because test should be always independent of the environment. But internally within the product, okay, there are some changes, okay, which is leading this to fail. Yeah, I am trying to isolate them and pick them one by one. Yeah, I got a feedbacks. I got a hit saying, okay, this shouldn't have failed. This shouldn't doing this. Okay, yeah, like from multiple directions. But I took them, means I accepted them, and I know this has nothing to do with the test, but I did my best to say, okay, what's the problem causing this, and I'm continuing to do what I have to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. Like I was saying, you write a piece of code, you fail at it. It's an opportunity for you to learn, and quite often we give up saying, "Oh, I don't understand logic." Well, that's absolutely incorrect in my opinion, because if there was no logic, you would not have come this far. It's as simple as that. The fact that you are working somewhere or you have completed your engineering or degree or post-graduation and you're looking for a job, that itself proves that there is enough logic in you. There is enough logical ability in you. So that should not stop you. You should not start thinking, oh, I don't understand logic. No, it's not the logic that's bothering you. It's just the syntax, maybe. maybe a semicolon or a bracket that's probably bothering you, you will learn about it. Okay, so that's what I had to say. You want to add something?
Yes. Um, each of us have the different place from where we start. Someone might start way high from me, but I may start much back. But still, I'm on the same journey. He's also on the same journey. He might see the result very soon. I might see big late. That's okay. Since we have our journey and we are starting from the different start points. That we should embrace that, and don't be scared about the languages when someone speaks about programming or anything. Be it like code smells and the principles. Okay, we will eventually get them all. Okay, I mean for that first we should make a start. Um, it's okay to do the mistakes. Only if we do that mistakes, we will understand those principles or those terms much better. And to do that, we should make a mistake. We should do which will eventually happen, and try to know, okay, what is this? What is this? So don't give up that. Take your time. Okay, don't get confused or scared with the words or the jargons or in those contexts. Okay,
Well,
accept.
well, I have that very learning in this interview. You know, sometimes you sort of get carried away, sort of get it, try to do things in one way, and then you find a something more interesting. This conversation had not happened, would not have happened if I would not have tried to close the interview earlier. So this is a learning for me to be patient and to take the discussion forward. Well, see, that is an example, right? You learn as you do things. So
Yes.
amazing experience talking to you, Ravi. I could just go on and on.
Yes.
You know, I of course wanted to start with something called as Chapter 2 of TesterSpeak. Speak again with the testers with whom I have already spoken, but that is delayed because I'm trying to finish my backlog on the number of interviews that I have planned, and I had to take a bit of a break to just rejuvenate in between. So we are back again. Yours is the first episode after the break, so thank you so much again for giving time, for being so insightful on all the topics, and it's been really a pleasure from me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. People who will watch this interview will definitely love the interaction. Um, we will speak. We will keep talking. We have the meetup, of course, where we try to speak as much as possible. So, folks, if you're watching this episode, note that due to the daylight saving time changes, the meetup is now scheduled on Sundays at 11:30 a.m. IST instead of 12:30, what it was before the daylight time took effect. So it becomes an hour sooner for you. You get an extra hour free on a Sunday afternoon after the meetup. Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you, Manish.
Keep talking.
Thank you. Thanks for the time and space you gave for me, and thanks to you and all other people who are making the test chat a place where we can come and share our thoughts and ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ravi. Well, so guys, that was a wrap on this particular episode. Do tune in for future episodes. Some very interesting guests coming in the upcoming episodes. If you think that there should be a tester who should appear on TesterSpeak, or if you think you are the tester you want to appear on TesterSpeak, feel free to reach out to me. You know how to get me, right? All right. So see you around in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.